Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee with Convery. Most organizations do not fail because they lack technology. They fail because they misunderstand trust. In an AI-driven, hyper-connected world, the real risk is not speed, it's vulnerability. Today's conversation is about what leaders miss before something breaks. Rob Chaykoski is a cybersecurity and information technology expert with more than 25 years of experience. He is a zero trust architect, an AI researcher, an educator, and a public sector security leader working across healthcare, government, education, and enterprise systems. But this is not a conversation about firewalls. It's about responsibility. It's about digital trust. It's about why cybersecurity is now a leadership decision. If you lead people, manage data, or work in tech, this one matters. Rob, welcome to Coffee with Convery.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me. This is
Yeah, it's
awesome.
so excited to have you here this morning. And we'll start with some rapid fire questions and then jump into your background and history and questions there. What's your superpower?
Oh boy. Okay, so the superpower is an interesting one because this is like a multi kind of thing. I've tried to uh, just keep it simple, but I could not. So empathy and a great memory, and this is unfortunately with most superpowers, it's it's the both sides, right? Like it can be a great hindrance and a great help at the same time, and ability to the empathy is great because it gives me like that wanting to help people and be out there. But sometimes, yeah, it's the wanting to help also takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of energy. And yeah, it can be draining, but yeah, it's more than worth it. And then the great memory is that is also that the double-sided coin is like you can remember a lot of the good things, but you can also remember a lot of the bad things. So it's funny how the superpowers can be also your biggest demise at the same time.
Yeah, those are two powerful ones though together, really. That's awesome. Thinking about school yourself, what was your favorite subject in school?
Oh, this is weirdly like this makes sense, but doesn't make sense. Is I did love the sciences in school,
Okay.
but my favorite topic was not computers. It was biology, and I absolutely love biology. I just the aspect of movement and kinetics and the how the DNA forms and all this other kind of stuff is just insane to me. It's amazing how deep it goes. It's like anyway, bacteria, yeah, all the funny stuff. It's insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Biology was an interesting subject as well, I remember. Yeah, great, great ideas you learned from there as well. Um, what was your very first job?
Oh my God, this is this is my true county-ish and the idea that a lot of people that I talk to when I talk to people from the cities and stuff, they don't get it is corn detasseling. And it's funny because honestly, it was a job that I learned a lot of hard work from
Yep.
and met some people and being an introvert kind of person, it also kind of got me out of my shell a little bit. But man, explaining what corn detasseling to some people, what explaining what it is to some people, just it's interesting.
Yeah. A couple of guests have had that as their first job, and I'll admit the very first person to tell me, I'm like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you remove these things from corn? Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
But a lot of young people start there. A lot of young people have that experience,
yeah,
right?
especially in this area, right? Like there was
Yeah.
a lot growing up. I don't know if you know funk seeds or
Yeah.
those were the ones that helped us kind of get the groove going on and get us into that hard working mentality. And yeah, I will say, even though it didn't pay a lot, it was a lot of fun.
So for those city folks listening, can you
Yeah,
describe what it actually is? I mean, I
yeah,
got the benefit of hearing it once, but or
yeah.
once or twice, but
Nothing better than midsummer. This is your a quick way to make some money when you're out of school. And obviously, some of the things that they were allowed to do were allowed to hire younger people, student wages. So they bring you into a field and they have rows of corn, right? Like so you see rows and rows of corn, and you look at the top, and they have that big tassel that's on the top that pollinates all the other corn. Well, I guess, and specific things like if you think of Frito-Lay, right? And they have corn chips that are specifically made from a specific type of corn. Well, I guess this specific type of corn needs to be pollinated in a specific way. Genetics, going back to my love of biology, right?
Oh wow.
And you get all these Punnett squares and alleles to make sure that it's the right type of corn. And yeah, it's awesome. And all I had to do was make sure that at the top, that tassel was the right tassel because of the female and male and all that other good stuff, making sure that it was the right pollination. And my gosh, it was a lot of hard work, but fun. We played uh we played football and that kind of stuff on the beaches, and it was so fun. Anyway,
Wow. That is so cool. I think that's a podcast. I should get a bunch of you on and compare notes on who did the best corn tasseling at some point.
oh, we should all,
That could,
you know what? Bring us all back onto a field and see who's still the best.
there you go. There you go. Challenge there. Survival of the fittest. So
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll do a
if you
we'll do a Jeopardy style
that
knockout
sounds
tournament.
fun. We'll do it. Describe yourself in one word if you could, or a couple words.
Uh, the best word that I've been able to describe myself is passionate. I have a lot of passion for what I do. As people know me, I usually either a 0 or 100, right? Like either it's no care or all care. All
Yeah.
gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
And yeah, sorry,
Yeah, I
that's
think
just
that's how we found each other because we have the same passion with youth and stuff like that. So it's
yeah, 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 yeah. That's one thing again. Watching again, you got me into like watching your pardon me, listening to your podcast, but
yeah,
watching the
yeah,
podcast at the same time. Is yeah the amount of youth that that you're inspiring, and it's this is like the
thank you.
ability to kind of like hopefully like I'm gonna coattail on some of your success to like hopefully give my little bit of knowledge as well to like
Oh,
infosec and let's go baby, let's get these kids
absolutely.
employed.
Let's get them going. So before cybersecurity and AI and zero trust, take us back to really where this all started for you. So what pulled you towards technology in the first place? And then secondary, what did your early career teach you about work, problem solving, and responsibility? So first,
Yeah.
what pulled you in? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where it's like, so technology is like a little bit of a black hole for me, right? Like, so I can never really escape. Try and get out to like try and get out to the forests or whatever, and I still have my phone with me once in a while, but I still it drives me back, drags me back. But it has this weird energy about it, and how do I say it? It like the first time ripping apart a radio or these kind of things when you're like just playing around as a kid and you start to see the wires and all the electronics and all that. And I think playing around with my computers and building my first computer was pretty amazing. And it just seems like um, technology is like that aspect where it gives you that creative control to play freely, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can tell you that from hardware to software wise, that there's no limit to the amount of technology that I can learn on a given day. Just yesterday, for example, I was taking some time to learn what the Snowflake, this data manipulation tool, and trying to like understand because as being a data guy, right? Like I have to learn a little bit more of the tools that are out there, and it's just like you just keep learning, and I think that's what keeps on pulling me in is that ability to learn. And again, this is where technology leads me into that cybersecurity aspect of things, and it just keeps on how do you say, like filling my brain, and
Yeah.
any kind of gap that I need, you go out to the internet and you find people like you, or you find people like whoever is out there to kind of like help you get better at what you do, right? Like, and I think when I look back to that first kind of moment of technology, my biggest cybersecurity moment, and I can capture it in like a specific time, is I was doing FTP, like a file transfer protocol, and
Yeah.
it's a clear text transfer, and I was using a tool called Wireshark, and I was looking at Wireshark, and as I was typing in my username and password, and Wireshark shows my username and password come through in clear text in real time, I'm like, whoa! All of a sudden, your mind blows up, and you're like, okay, I love this stuff. I really want to find out more, right? Like, so
Yeah.
when you got to see, and then again, we've been playing around with encryption and all that, but that is the moment, and that's where it started. Is technology drove me, but that cybersecurity was I can point to a specific moment.
Yeah, and a key insight there is that even yesterday you were looking at snowflakes. So for all our listeners, in the tech field, which may or may not be, something they're thinking about, but you constantly are learning. It's like lifetime learning in that space and understanding
Yeah.
what's going on, right? And the other thing that comes out there too is your curiosity, as a kid with the pulling apart and still now is
Mhm.
such a skill that don't let people beat that out of you. Like you got to have that curiosity, right? Keep going, asking questions.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. And if I can say that to every one of the students that I talk to is keep curious because if somebody beats out that curiosity, come talk to me.
Yeah.
We'll chat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And then also like in your early career, we always talk about these skills of problem solving and responsibility. What did you learn about work and responsibility and problem solving as you were getting started?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. So the one thing I will say about the problem solving and responsibility thing is like, wow, it's like how one in one, like it's hand in hand. And honestly, until you actually said that, I think that's the first time I never really realized that, is how, problem solving takes a real responsibility. Like, because when you take a problem, you want to take it to the complete,
Right.
resolution, right? That's a responsibility that you're taking on as yourself and as the person that you're taking the problem from. And oh my God, that's and I think that's the curiosity is that it drives you to solve that problem. And I can tell you, um, cybersecurity is one of those problems that seem to be constantly evolving, right? Like it's a cat and mouse situation. So
Yep.
we the learning and just keeping on trying to understand like um there's people out there that have nothing but time, right? Like you have these hackers that just they've lost their jobs or they may be in a country that doesn't quite have the economic superpowers that we do, and they have the training, they have the time, they have the capacity, and but they just don't have the job. So yeah, it's they can do it. So we have to get better, and cybersecurity, we just have to prep. We keep on doing it. Problem
Absolutely.
solving all the time.
Absolutely. From tech to trust, your work isn't just about systems, it's about trust. How do you help organizations understand that cybersecurity isn't really just a tech problem, it's a human and a leadership problem to solve?
Uh, Again, this is the amazing part of this, and that I love the I love how we can go down these paths because this is what amazes me about this is the open aspect is that there's no cookie cutter approach to any of this, right? So when you think about all these people and all these systems, it's like it's the people that do matter, right? Like so we have to understand that if we train the people, if we show the people that they have to be a reason why they care, right? Like if you bring them in and they care about a paycheck. They're going to get their paycheck. They're going to go in and out every day. I think there's an important aspect that you kind of make them care about what they're doing to protect themselves and others. Because I think, as we said, like, I keep on using the point, like we're as strong as our strongest neighbors, right? Like if we have a weak
Mhm.
neighbor, then that's the weakest way that they get in. And I can probably talk to that later on more in regards to new adversarials that we've experienced lately due to politics,
Yeah,
but I'll keep that for later on. But again, just going back into the stronger neighbors is that the other analogy that I like to use is that you don't build good neighbors by building fences, but that aspect you build fences to keep out bad neighbors. The reason why we build fences is to keep out those bad neighbors. But if we really want good neighbors, we'll make good doors, right? Like, so we want the good
interesting.
neighbors to come in. We'll just make those doors and allow them in. So, and I keep on going as all these analogies, and the strongest part of the house is always the foundation, right? Like, so
Yeah,
as we start understanding like how we train these people, a stronger foundation builds a stronger house. So yes, people, um, it's not about technology. It's about understanding like how we can get these people to understand that what they do day in and day out matters to not only them, but their friends, their family, because the things that they also learn at work, cybersecurity, they get to bring home to make sure that they're not like, giving away their millions of dollars that they've saved, right, to
yeah,
some scammer that, has a Microsoft link that they click on.
exactly. It can do so much damage. Um, Teaching and building is also a big part of who you are. You're obviously not just building systems, you're teaching people. As a professor and mentor, what gaps do you see between what people think tech careers should look like and what they actually require to succeed?
Okay, here's a couple good ones because I want to make sure I hammer this point down because Candace
Go
will
for
love
it.
me. Is the power skills, right? I think Candace from Pixabay is amazing, the amount of energy she brings to anything, and I always make sure that I want to call her out because she's done been helpful to us in our like whole initiative. So
Awesome.
um yeah, so going back to that is that power skills, right? Like you understand now that you're not competing against the five or 10 people in the room with you now. You're competing with 100 to 200 people that are submitting their electronic resume using AI, right? Like it's so how do we like make sure that we take that is that is is as we start to build that trust and that kind of aspect of things and those soft skills is it's more than just a piece of paper now, right? It's
Yeah.
that aspect is you have to you show your visibility. One of the things that I'm learning about, but also like conversations, communication, being able to take responsibility, as you kind of like mentioned earlier, right? If you make a
Yeah.
mistake, own it, right? Like this is the understanding is that sometimes you got to learn. And yeah, it sucks, and people have to understand how to make mistakes again. We have to fail to succeed. It's I hate using all these like usual metaphors and all that, but there's a
No, but
reason why they stick.
we've built something around this fail to succeed. Like I see a lot of young people saying, "Well, I can't make a mistake. I can't fail." I'm like, how do you think I got where I got? Like I didn't,
Yeah, yeah,
you learn. Yeah, you
hmm
make mistakes, own it, like you said, and learn from it. Right?
yeah. And yeah, some mistakes are gonna suck and they're gonna like hurt a little
Yeah.
bit, and yeah, and that's why I think I could go into so much about that, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the aspect is you understand that as we build our power skills is that you make mistakes, you communicate it, and then you like learn to like move on, right? And then you
Right.
build your career. And I think that's the idea is that I think we've lost a lot from our fear and the other thing is hands-on. I can't even like I can't even tell you how much we've lost from a hands-on perspective. Um, I love tech, but I will say like if I can't if I'm gonna make like I ripped apart my computer. That was like some of the first things that I did is like when I was younger, I ripped apart my computer. Matter of fact, I still rip apart my computers to this day and try and build them here and there. My hands don't quite have the same dexterity as they used to, but there's something about going inside a computer, and I always make the joke like if you had a doctor and your doctor never put their hands inside somebody, would you ever trust your doctor? Like and I'm like, yeah, it's like anytime any doctors that are out there, feel free to put their hands inside me. I'm game, right? Like whatever. You guys want everybody needs to learn. And I think if
Yeah.
you don't put your hands on things, you can't really learn it.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. And those power skills, again, are such a big deal. And it's how you stand out as well.
Hmm.
Like you mentioned, the skills there, the digital skills that we have that we can profile, but until you can demonstrate it and get out there and talk about it, um, yeah, it makes a huge difference. Um, let's talk about AI responsibility and reality. Everyone's talking about AI, but not everyone's talking about, again, the word responsibility. But from your perspective, what does responsible AI actually mean?
Mm.
And what should leaders and organizations be thinking before they deploy it?
Yeah, this one's a really big, touchy subject for a lot of people, I think, lately, because
Big.
one, it's driving a lot of like a lot of economy, and again, it's I look at a lot of the people that are out doing AI right now, doing a lot of great things, but it's not a panacea, it's not a silver bullet, it's not like it's not going to solve all our ills, and I keep going back to the analogy, like my calculator, right? Like I have a calculator in my pocket that I walk with every day. It's my phone, and that's the idea is that AI will be my new calculator. It's that idea that if I need something to like, do a quick cursory look, and it's the idea that we used to Google things, right? Like you used to Google, then you go to the reference and you look at the reference and ensure that it was correct. It's just a more advanced Google that gives you a little bit more context and detail to give you some idea. And again, if you don't look at your references, you're at your own like demise, right? Like that's the aspect is I one of the funny things that I did recently, and I would love to like get into that more eventually, is I was browsing for AI research and just kind of like going to some websites and doing the idea of, and especially like I'm a big data fan lately and trying to figure out how data works and all that. So one of the websites that I went to is was built using AI, and I'm like, oh, that's okay, whatever. So the problem is when you're looking at data and all this AI stuff, and you start looking at the references, is sometimes they're self-referencing, right? And the problem with self-referencing AI is that if it gets bad data, guess what it's referencing? Yes, yes. And that's exactly it is, right? So, and this is where I went through it. I'm like, oh my God, it's actually self-referencing itself. So when you're going to your AI and that AI is giving you an answer that the AI is referencing itself, it's just that's not where I want to go. So I
No.
don't like if I went to my calculator and I went 9 times 9 and it gave me 100. Ooh, you better check that I'm going to be going to a new calculator. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Um, let's talk about early career professionals because that's an area we both love and support
mhm.
and coach. For people early in their careers, especially those entering tech, IT, or cybersecurity, what skills matter most beyond what certifications?
Well, and this is the thing I'm gonna hit on just for a minute, just because the certifications has been like a really big talking point in cybersecurity and IT, right? Like
Yeah,
certifications is like one of those weird things where people are back and forth on is like, are do they help or do they not help? And I'll try my best to like give a little context around this for my
sure.
professorship perspective. When you graduate, and I will say, and as you have your levels, and we'll talk about we've talked about the power skills quickly, but we also talk about your resume and how it looks. Well, if you have a resume that shows you're in cybersecurity, but you haven't even tried to do a certification,
Hmm.
it's going to raise some flags for me, right? Like, so this is the aspect that in cybersecurity and IT, certifications do matter a bit. Do they show you can do the job? No, 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 no. But do they show that you're committed and passionate and want to try it more? Absolutely, right? So I will start looking at resumes that have the free certifications, right? Because one, a free certification shows me that one, you're committed to like at least do the certification, even though there may not be a significant reward. Because most people know the free certifications are free, so people do it.
Yep.
But that also gives me a lead in, like, so it gives me a way to ask questions in a resume. So let's say you do a certification on zero trust, and you're applying for this job. At least it gives me an opportunity to go, okay, so what do you know about zero trust? It looks like you've done a certification on zero trust. Can you tell me about 5 pillars or oh, it's up to 7 pillars now, or whatever the heck they're doing now. I don't know why they would expand it, but anyway, this is the idea is that it
Hmm.
gives you those more conversation points to like build on your resume and knowledge because the certifications are like just another it's like the window framing on your house, right? Like to me it may not be great for it may not be critical to your work, but it really looks nice on your house, right?
Yeah.
So and I'm really screwing up these analogies, but I'm running out.
No, no, no. It totally makes sense. I mean, it's something that grabs your attention. They are motivated. They tried something. They're looking at something in the area they're exploring, right? It's all those things back to curiosity as well, right? Like that's
and I
important.
and I love to see people that do things outside of their normal capacity, right? Like for people that go beyond cybersecurity, it's amazing to me. People that coach soccer or it doesn't even have to be chess, robotics, somebody that takes a chance to go do something that's not cyber is amazing to me too. Like it shows that even though I will say, like, I live, eat, and breathe cyber. People see me on LinkedIn all the time, but I still do my stuff that's outside of it, right? Like I
Yeah.
still try and do non-cyber things. I still go for my walk with my dog. Like
Yep.
it's mental and physical health are like huge because that's the you can't prepare for your brain to break, and that's I will like I can get into that at some point eventually, but not right now. But yes, it's if you keep on packing on and packing on, something's got to give, right? So you
Yep.
have to take advantage to offload a little bit what you do to something that's not
Yeah.
always you're not always in the sink.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk nonlinear paths for a minute. Your career isn't linear, it's layered. What would you say to somebody who feels they're behind because their path
Oh
doesn't
man.
look clean, fast, or traditional?
Oh boy, this is a okay. So this is a fun one for me because there's a lot of thing that we're doing at SWA, like our Southwestern Ontario Cybersecurity Talent Showcase, like our
Nice.
nonprofit to kind of help this, right? The biggest thing that we're finding, and as you may know with seeing a lot of talking to the students, is that 0 to 5 year experience gap. A lot of companies don't want to train employees anymore. And I don't understand it. And I can't figure it out because training an employee in an environment gives them way better, like, gets them hands on, right?
Right?
It's the doctor that's working in a hospital, right? Like you get them better and better. So that 0 to 5 year gap is like how we can like it's frustrating. So SWATs is like trying to do this thing where we're bringing people in to like give them more hands-on experience. We're doing the workshops and like working with
Yeah,
people like Candace and whoever else to kind of like, and I'm losing my thought train here. So give me a second as I like um
no problem.
so as we kind of like get them back onto the track of things is that um you take these oh my God, sorry. So as you take I'm going through my I should have brought up my resume was what I should have did, and then I could make it easier. Is you start to look at, yeah, if you take a nonlinear path like I did, it does take longer to get there. And
Yeah,
I think that was the bit the what I was trying to get to the short of it. But the advantage is as you go nonlinear, I took things like risk assessment that I was able to bring into operational security, that I was able to bring into architecture and engineering, that I was able to bring into data learning, right? Like, so you can take things across your different parallels. But the thing is, as I was saying about that 0 to 3 year, 0 to 5 year, and all these, is as you kind of like um, go across your career, it sometimes takes longer to go up in your career. So sometimes moving across doesn't move you up fast.
yeah,
But that being said, oh my God, moving up fast doesn't isn't always the best thing to do either.
no,
Like I
no,
just like I found myself, I'm so glad that I've taken the path that I have
yeah,
because I can't imagine being a director or a CISO at this point because there's still so much more that I think I need to learn.
hmm
That I think would be important that if I'm making decisions for like big companies or big or even little companies now, the more experience I get, the better it is to make those decisions. The more comfortable I feel like making those decisions.
making
I'm just
those.
and I say that as a I don't teach any fish to climb a tree, right? Like, and I keep on thinking of that is that I'm not a you don't want to bring a fish into a tree either because like a fish is going to die in that kind of environment as well, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So I'm just a fish that likes to swim in the water. And there's bigger fish out there that like to, that eat smaller fish like me. But yeah, I
No,
honestly,
but then you get big, you get
yep,
bigger when you
yep,
swim. And
yep.
I wanted to share because I think you're also hitting on something like I read an article on LinkedIn by a woman out of New York who said we don't have career paths, we have career portformolios. And when I
Hmm.
think about the portfolio aspect of what you experience, and I led a similar thing, I again wasn't maybe where and again, this is why you shouldn't compare your career to other people, but a friend of mine went up quick, right? And, I didn't because I went across and I
Hmm.
did a bunch of things. But that's where I think when you do that and you look at career portfolios and for the listeners, this is where you build transferable skills. And when you try to define what transferable skills, exactly what you described is transferable skills, right?
See, this is better. Like, see, you have the HR like terminology that I need to learn, right? This is where like I
Oh,
can
we
think
work
of like,
together, right?
yeah, there we go. That's
That's why it
perfect.
makes the
See?
podcast interesting.
I love it. And that's why it's funny you mentioned that 'cause that's exactly like transferable skills, right? Like if you think, and it's, if I tomorrow I give up cybersecurity and I want to go into like, landscaping, hopefully I have some transferable skills. Like, yeah, I'm not going to be like, doing data security, I hope,
Yeah.
but I hopefully like me talking to people helps me do landscaping,
A
right?
hundred percent. And that's where I went. the younger listeners to think about that because when you graduate, you're not just born, you lived a whole experience to get there, right?
Hmm.
And all those jobs, corn tests, whatever it
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
right, right. Like they all build who you are today. And
yeah.
that's what's important. So, yeah, I think back to the doctor, I want my doctor to have a career path for sure.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
outside of that, I don't care. I think it
yeah.
shows you've learned a bunch of different things, right? And I think
Well,
nowadays there is going to be a lot more movement with all the changes in, you know, different skills that you have to learn and or different industries or sectors you're going to work in.
yeah, and I will say, like, sorry, I'm gonna pick on you for a second there, Brian.
Sure.
Like, look at what you're doing right now, right? Like, this is a skill that you probably didn't pick up, 20 years ago, right? So,
No, no.
so this is a new skill that you're learning and you're developing, and this is a new skill that I have to learn and develop too. Like, people may think that I'm a computer guy, but yeah, I gotta learn. I gotta learn a lot of tech too. Podcasting isn't easy, and I would recommend like anybody that is maybe having some tough time finding career stuff is talk to people like you, get on these kind of
Yeah,
podcasts and like show yourself. Gosh,
absolutely.
I can't believe like how many times I've talked to like people that I knew and they're like, wow, we didn't know that you did this. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't know I did this?
Yeah.
I've been cybersecurity all my life. How do you not know?
What?
Anyway, and it's funny. You get into these kind of things, and that's why I look at what you've done, and I want to mimic some of this, like coattail on some of this great
Oh,
stuff that you
thank
guys are
you.
doing. Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so
Like
much. That's
I,
awesome.
and I think as we may alluded to before is like we've worked really hard to get this conversation going many times, and as much as we've had this conversation outside of this right now,
Yeah.
it's amazing, right? Like, and this is why we have to keep doing because if we build our networks and we have the people like you and all that because and
And you.
I have somebody like you in my back pocket now, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
awesome. I get if I have somebody that I need to like refer to as you need to get on this podcast. There we go. I got
There you
Brian
go.
that I can talk to, right? And without
Yeah,
you doing
those
the podcast,
connections matter. Those connections are what makes the world go around, as we say. But I also want to, I think the other big thing I want to jump into before we talk about some other quick things is entrepreneurship is a big thing.
mhm.
Consulting. I get a lot of young people and a lot of people looking for career pivots are like, I think I want to do my own thing. Um, what is, what has entrepreneurship and consulting taught you, or anything you want to
Oh,
share with or give a perspective on for some people that might think, I don't want to do big corporate. I'm going to go do my own
ooh.
thing.
Yeah, this is like again, this is where I don't think it's talked about enough again, right? Like I don't
No.
know. It's like how do you start off from beginning? So I don't know if I talked about this last time that we had a conversation or whatever, but I started off by building my own computer business, right? Like when I first started and
Okay.
I didn't know where to go, I ran a small computer building business up in our little Essex area, and it was like my first real computer job, right? Like I didn't have a computer job before that. I kind of like, what do I do? Well, I build computers, and then built and sold computers and it wasn't successful, as you can tell today, but it did give me that skill to understand, like, hey, you know what? It's a business can be it's tough, but it can learn a lot of skills, soft skills, get you a lot of connections, and again, consulting, problem solving, nothing like like throwing you into like the deep end right away. So if you really want to learn a lot fast, get into entrepreneurship and consulting because again, this is you're going to take your education and you're going to like just I don't know how to word it.
No.
Take it and just, yep, yeah. And you're just gonna, yeah, exponential growth,
Skyrocket. Yeah.
skyrocket. Funny I mentioned that because that's one of the other things that we're looking at doing is launching rockets. But yes, yeah. So skyrocket is the idea is you just learn so much faster. But I think as we mentioned before, you can fail faster too, right? Like you can
Yeah.
just understand like, and it takes a specific, you water off a duck's back kind of thing to make sure that you don't take too much of that stuff personally, because
Hmm.
people will rip you apart when you make mistakes. That's just people, what some people do. But you know what?
Yeah.
That's people. You gotta get people will be people.
That's right. That's
We
right.
we see it all the time. We see it more. Yeah, it's complex out there, and we have to deal
It
with it.
is. What do you think, though, in that space too? It's not too bad to dip your toe in the water and do, I mean, side gigs is in my humble opinion, is becoming, fractional work, which is,
Yeah.
I guess, a sexier word for contracting. But
Or
others
the
will
or the
say,
gig, the gig
yeah, it's a
economy.
gig, gig economy. What do you think about that, even as a exploration? Because
I think the hard part about the gig economy is just not devalue who you are, right? This is where it's the race to the bottom is not a good thing. Being less expensive than somebody else is advantageous to a point, but you really want to be the cheapest, and that's the hard part is. And I will say, like, I would
that's
rather
so
do it for
true.
free than do it for a low cost.
That's so true. I hadn't thought of that aspect of the gig economy because it starts to become a dollars, not a skill game.
Yes. Yeah, it's the and that's where I'm like I get frustrated because the big I don't want to like paint
It's
myself into a
okay.
corner, but big business will take advantage of you, right? Like they will take advantage. If they can pay you $7, the only reason why minimum wage exists is because businesses, you know, will pay you less if they can.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so true. You got to protect your own IP, your own interests, your own
Oh my
passions
God.
that way.
And you say that right now that your intellectual property, right? Like this is
Yeah.
where I'm a huge fan is like you own your own personality, you own your own person, you own your own intellectual property. You get to choose what you do with it, right? Not anybody else. So that's why it's like uh, Brian, as his podcast, gets to choose that he brings who he wants on and talks about what he wants, right? And this is where I keep on getting frustrated about this idea of like the consulting and entrepreneurship and all this other aspect is that you are going to give your business and do what you can. You charge a rate, right? Like if you don't feel comfortable, please don't like, don't go cheaper, right? That's the uh people will abuse you and we're um and also, and I don't know how to say this, find a good lawyer that will help you in a way that
Yeah.
won't cost you a ton.
Yeah.
You're gonna need like your insurance, right? Like anytime you do consulting,
Yeah.
if I can recommend anything, is that what do they call that? Personal liability
Yeah.
for
Absolutely.
it's make sure that you protect yourself. Errors and omissions. Get errors
Yeah.
and omissions no matter what you do, in
Yeah.
case you make a mistake. That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that,
No.
get a good lawyer and but not that's not to scare you. That's just to make sure that you just protect yourself. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's a big. Ooh, we should get Candace and everybody do a workshop on how to start consulting and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's make
That'd
a
be awesome.
call.
Sorry.
Ah, no, no, it's all good. Another shout out to Pixmay. Um, I can't believe we're getting to the end of the conversation. I love chatting with you, and you have so much insights and perspectives and really cool stuff you've done. That is why you're here. But if you could leave the listeners, again, early in career, pivots in career, people just looking for inspiration to have their own career, like
Yeah.
lead it the way they want to lead it. What would you want to say before we wrap up?
Connect. I would say like so,
Connect.
come. I'm on LinkedIn. I like we have a Discord. We're a big nonprofit. Like I mentioned, our SWOTs, SWOCTS.com. We have a calendar on there. We do a lot of events. So we've trying to show up to Task, which is Toronto security. We're starting something in Waterloo with the ISC squared. So
Nice.
if I want to leave anything with everybody is like just keep working towards something. And if you're not sure where you want to go in your career, find somebody that you kind of want to go. It's like one of my buddies said it best for like if you have a problem voting for people, right? Like there's only so many political parties. Think of it as a bus, right? All the buses are going somewhere, and it may not be the destination that you want to go, but as long as it's going to get you close to where you want to go, hop on that bus, right?
There you
So,
go.
I mean, and that's why I said it's really, I love analogies, but it's like that aspect that, if you want to find your cybersecurity career, come hop on a bus of people that you kind of like-minded.
Yeah.
Like if you like forensics, hop on a bus of forensics people. If you like, operational security, hop on a bus of operational security. We'll get you there, but you might not like the forensics bus. So, but I will say that's the one thing that, one last analogy before I go. If you're on the wrong train, get off the train before the last stop.
Drop the mic.
So, yep, yep, that's it. That's all I'll leave. Get
That's
off that.
it.
That's it.
No, that's awesome. No, thank you again, Rob. Such a pleasure having you on today. And And thank you so much for sharing your insights and your thoughts about earning trust, staying curious, and choosing responsibility. Much
I know
appreciated.
I appreciate all your time and effort on this, Bradley. I can't even tell you the amount of effort you put into making sure that I got on.
Uh,
I can't. I'm like, man, yeah, I would have dropped me long ago.
no, all good, all good. To our
Awesome.
listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. Subscribe to the podcast on coffeewithconvery.com. You can also follow us on Instagram for clips and short stories as well. This is Coffee with Convery, where we remind you that success is not always about climbing the corporate ladder. Sometimes it's about building your own jungle gym.